Let's talk about 20 underrated metal albums by popular metal bands. Now, I've done this video before, but my audio was completely messed up, and then I tried to do a video on the computer, but my fat head was in the way, so third time's a charm, am I right? But yeah, we're talking about popular bands with those albums that no one talks about, really. The albums that don't get a lot of recognition, and maybe they do, but it's a lot less than the most popular albums from those artists. We're going to talk about those today. I've got 20 for you, 20 of my favourite picks. Sometimes I think they're even better than the most popular picks. So let's get it started with a great Teutonic thrash band, Sodom. And my pick is Tapping the Vein. Tapping the Vein. I love the more death thrash feel of this album. It's a lot heavier, it's a lot in your face, the drumming is just crazy. Everything about this just is more intense than a lot of the other more famous albums like Agent Orange and M16, Persecution Mania. Persecution Mania is good, more black metal feel, but Tapping the Vein has just got this death metal edge to it. It's just so ferocious, intense, and I love the album cover. It's a bit weird. It's like a giant Smurf on steroids. You gotta love that. Alright, next up we have Bathory with Nordland I. That's right, everyone talks about the debut for starting it, and Return of Darkness and Evil, and Under the Sun of the Black Mark for creating black metal, and yeah, absolutely amazing albums. Bloodfire Death for the more Viking style. But Nordland I has just this beautiful edge to it. There's a lot of amazing passages, kind of takes you into the forest, keeps you there, around a campfire. It is such a great folky Viking metal album, and his voice sounds fantastic on it. I've never been a big fan of his singing voice on stuff like Hammerheart. I think it's okay, but on Nordland, I don't know, it just works for me. So Nordland I, very underrated. Love that album. Next up we have Behemoth with Zos Kia Cultus. The song alone, No Sympathy for Fools, just gets the blood pumping. But yeah, Behemoth, popular band ever since The Satanist. Everyone loves them, raves them. You know, I Loved You at the Darkest was well received as well. Come to me, Batsabel. But then you got the more famous death metal stuff like Demigod, Evangelion, the early stuff even, for, you know, the black metal nerds. You got Sventif and Grom. But no one talks about Zos Kia Cultus, and I feel like that is really underrated and one of the best albums. Some great riffs, heaviness, evil, everything you could ask for. Next up we have Cannibal Corpse with Bloodthirst. Bloodthirst, this is ferocious. Dead Human Collection! Pounded into dust. Excuse me, there's just too many good, just heavy-ass songs on this album. Ferocious from start to finish. Yeah, people talk about the Barnes era, the first couple of albums. People talk about stuff like Kill and Torture, Skeletal Domain, but Bloodthirst doesn't get mentioned a lot. And I feel like it's one of the best Corpse Grinder era albums, and it's just absolutely just smashing you over the head with a brick constantly until you've got a big-ass lump. It's big. And I love it. Next up, Cradle of Filth, Damnation and a Day. That is right. Again, people talk about Midian, people talk about Cruelty and the Beast. I have the poster right there. I love them. But yeah, and then the newer stuff, when they kind of had a resurgence with Cryptorania and Hammer of the Witches. But no one talks about Damnation and a Day. I feel like because it's a bit too long, that's my only gripe, but the songs are amazing, the theming is amazing, the whole segues into the different songs, like, that segue into Better to Reign in Hell is one of the best I've ever heard in any metal. Best I've ever heard. Underrated songs on here, The Smoke of Her Burning, one of the best Cradle songs I've ever done, and then bloody Dome and Pharaoh with that cool Egyptian theme, So Glad for the Madness. There's too many great songs on this album to just pass it off because it's a little bit long. Or maybe it's a bit too theatrical for you, but I think that kind of elevates it and makes it amazing. And seeing some of them live, oh boy, it's good. Speaking of some black metal, Emperor, Prometheus. That's right. Everyone talks about In the Nightside Eclipse and Anthems to the Welcome at Dusk, which are absolutely phenomenal, don't get me wrong. But Prometheus doesn't get as much mentioned, even though it's such a good album. It's such a good progressive black metal album. I think the reason is that those two albums are just so seminal, so just classic. But you've got to kind of take it away. Look at Prometheus by itself. Not alongside those by itself, and it's such an underrated album, you know? I'd say it's just as good as some of them. You know, I'd say it's just as good as Equilibrium, but hey-ho, it's probably better than most of the Ihsan's solo work, in my opinion. Prometheus just... It's kind of what he was going for with the Ihsan stuff later on, but... Yeah, if you compare it to In the Night Side, it's gonna be... It's tough, because it's a completely different kind of style and sound. But by itself, absolutely amazing, underrated as hell. Manowar is next. Fighting, fighting, fighting the world! Again, people talk about Hail to England because it made them big. Battle hymns for the classic stuff. People talk about Kings of Metal for being the most popular album. But no one talks about Fighting the World. Black Wind, Fire and Steel, one of the best songs I've ever written. Defender, one of the best songs I've ever written. And then fun stuff like Blow Your Speakers. It's too good. It's too good. It's a fun album. It's rambunctious. It's just underrated as all hell. Moving on to Iron Maiden, Dance of Death. That's right. It gets overlooked. Of course, like the early shit. I don't even need to mention that. But Brave New World, the big comeback. You know, Matter of Life and Death, the kind of concept album where it's the whole thing is about war. And the later stuff, Dance of Death kind of gets swept away. The only thing people remember is that horrendous artwork. But the songs are amazing. Journeyman, one of my favourite Maiden songs. Such a beautiful, like, folky ballad almost. I love that song. Rainmaker's got one of the best riffs I've ever heard. Do 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 do. Just, it's too good. No More Lies. Passchendaele's one of the best Maiden songs I've ever done. What can I say? I love Dance of Death. I think the songs on it are killer. Underrated as hell. Just because of that terrible artwork. Just ignore that. Next up, Pantera with Power Metal. That's right. This album's great from start to finish. Phil sounds fantastic on it. Fantastic. The first album of Phil. I don't know why they kind of shy away from it. It has a bit more of a heavy metal feel to it. Not glam, it's a bit more heavy metal. It sounds more like Judas Priest, and that's why I like it as the best Pantera album. Because it sounds like Judas Priest. Does not sound like Pantera. And it's underrated as hell. You know, yeah, I love Cowboys and stuff with Vulgar Display, but Power Metal's my favourite. I think it's underrated as all hell. It literally sounds like a great heavy metal album, and heavy metal is better than groove metal. There you go, I said it. Next up, Metallica, Death Magnetic. The sound designs, people say, oh, it's a bit too loud, the mixing or whatever. I've never really understood that complaint. Maybe my ears are just dead from all the concert going, but it sounds fine to me. The songs, though, killer. Cyanide, All Nightmare Long, Broken Beat and Scarred, like, all these songs are absolutely fantastic. I like every single song on the album. I think it's absolutely an underrated album. People talk about, you know, the new 172 season. People talk about how bad, like, Saint Anger and stuff is. And then the Black Album before that. Everyone loves them. Come on. But no one talks about Death Magnetic, aside from just the sound quality of it. But I feel like the songs in it, underrated as all hell. One of the best Metallica albums. So, there you go. Next up, Mastodon's The Hunter. Again, sandwiched between some albums like Crack the Sky, an absolute magnum opus. I'm not going to argue that. Prog metal, just supremacy. But then The Hunter comes out and does something a little bit different. A lot shorter songs, more eccentric, more weird, experimental. And people are like, it's not Crack the Sky Part 2. I don't like it. Go re-listen to it. You know, stuff like The Sparrow. And it's just... Creature Lives. So fun, interesting, unique songs. It's just the fact that it's not like Crack the Sky Part 2. You know? They wanted more stuff like Emperor of the Sand and things like that. But, yeah, The Hunter. Underrated as all hell. Next up, Opeth. Pale Communion. Pale Communion, the more prog rock, sounding subdued sound of Opeth. You could say anything Heritage onwards is underrated, but I feel like Pale Communion especially, because some of the songs, like The River, is so beautiful. Moon Above, Sun Below stands tall with, like, the best Opeth songs, in my opinion. Moon Above, Sun Below is amazing. Goblin, great. Cusp of Eternity, I could go on. I love every single song on this album. It's such a great homage to, you know, 80s prog rock, you know, 70s, 80s prog rock, and I think it's a phenomenal album, and it all flows together well. It's not disjointed, kind of like Heritage. It flows really nice, and there's no sound problems in it, so yeah, I think it's perfect album. Next up, Dream Theater with Awake. Again, sandwiched between Metropolis Part 2 and Images and Words, so of course it's going to get underrated. You know, I feel like it is a nice Part 2 to Images and Words. It still has the technicality, still has the progressiveness. It's just a lot shorter songs on it. But the songs are really fun. 6 o'clock? 6 o'clock on a Christmas morning. It's catchy as all hell. Now, it has one of the best solos of all time in this album. Voices. The Mirror, there's too many good songs on it. Yeah, it's a bit shorter. Yeah, that's the only complaint that people have, really. I don't know. Maybe they don't think the songs are as memorable. I think this album's underrated as hell. I think it's just as good as Images and Words. So there you go. What we got next? Children of Bodom, Halo of Blood. Children of Bodom, Alexei, R.I.P. Love the guitar playing on this album. And his vocals sound phenomenal on Halo of Blood. Like, phenomenal. Absolute ferocity all the way through. Catchiness all the way through. It's such a great album, and people don't listen to it as much because it's quite a later album. People like Hate Crew Death Roll, and then Hatebreeder, and Follow the Reaper and stuff in the early years. Maybe they haven't checked it out. But Halo of Blood definitely is worth your time, and it's a very underrated album. And even the album cover's sick in the snow. The Reaper in the snow. Come on. It's great. Excuse me again. Black Sabbath. Yeah, Black Sabbath. It's hard to have an underrated Black Sabbath album because they're so big. Biggest metal band. But, you know, a Dehumanizer, one of the Dio albums. Very heavy, very catchy, just a fun album. People, talk about Mob Rules and Heaven and Hell with the Dio stuff, but Dehumanizer kind of gets swept under the rug, but I think it's just as good. Just as heavy and catchy. It is hard with Black Sabbath to pick an underrated one, but yeah, Dehumanizer is the one I'm going for. I could pick Technical Ecstasy, because personally I kind of like that as well, but I wouldn't say it's as good as Dehumanizer, so there you go. That's what I'm going with. Dio, speaking of Dio, Dream Evil. That's right. Again, Last in Line and Holy Diver. Bloody classic, Sacred Heart, people love. Dream Evil is my favourite Dio album. Literally my favourite. All the Fools Sailed Away is the best Dio song. That's right. I fucking said it. Amazing album from start to finish. Great creepy artwork. I don't understand why this one's not loved as much as some of the others. Don't understand. Yeah, there is some great later Dio albums. Lock Up the Wolves. It's fun as well. And there's some good stuff. But Dream Evil is literally my favourite album, and it doesn't get talked about nearly as much as Last in Line or Holy Diver, so there you go. In Flames. Good old In Flames. Sounds of a Playground Fading is what we're going with. People talk about Come Clarity. In the later years, people talk about a sense of purpose, which I love, personally. But no one talks about Sounds of a Playground Fading. It kind of gets faded into obscurity. But I think there's some catchy songs on here, with The Dead Ships Dwell. Such a great song. The title track, such a great song. Deliverers, such a great song. Yeah, what can I say? I think the album is very severely underrated. And I've enjoyed it ever since it came out, to be honest. So, yeah, good old In Flames. Next up, Katatonia, Discouraged Ones. This gets also sandwiched in between the Mikkel era, like with Brave Murder Day, absolute classic death doom goodness, and then the catchy, depressing stuff like Viva Emptiness, Last Deal Gone Down. Kind of gets segued between them because it's kind of a transitional album, but it's the most depressing album they've ever done. The most depressing. The sound on it is unlike any other Katatonia album. It has this dreary, just drenched in filth kind of sound. It's hard to describe it. Just listen to the albums in order and you'll know what I mean. The sound quality on it is just, it makes it more depressing. And the songs are, god damn, tears in the eye. Tears in the eye. It'll be like, I love Discouraged Ones. Marduk with Nightwing. That's right. Panzer Division Marduk. Classic. Heavy. Oh, there's a little jig going. Yeah, Marduk Nightwing is just ferocious, heavy, blasting you in the face the entire album. People don't talk about it. You know, they talk about Plague Angel, they talk about Panzer Division Marduk, they talk about the early stuff, Opus Nocturne, and the more black metal kind of sounding stuff. But Nightwing is just as ferocious as Panzer, just as just balls to the walls, and just as good, in my opinion. Oh, we got one left. Nile, Ithyphallic. Again, people dismiss this because of the sound quality on it. They say it's a bit murky, the sound on it, but I love the songs. The songs are so damn good. Essential Salts, the Papyrus to preserve those who were in the water, whatever the long-ass song title is. Love it. Eat of the Dead. There's just too many catchy, goddamn good Nile songs. Nile doesn't have a bad album, in my opinion. This one's very underrated. I feel like the songs are some of the best they've ever done. It just so happens that the sound quality is a bit murky, but oh well, I can look past that. It's a fucking great album from start to finish. Ithyphallic. So there we go. Those are 20 underrated metal albums by popular bands that I love every single one. And we want your guys' opinion in the comments below. Tell me your own underrated albums by popular bands. What albums do you love that people don't really talk about? Let me know down below, and we'll see you again on another Quest for Metal.